Hello, guys. Welcome back to Gist with Essay. It's so great to see you guys today. It's a beautiful Saturday. The weather is beautiful over here in London. And today we're going to be talking a bit about politics. Okay. How many of you would agree with me that it's time, for the youth to take over in Nigeria? That's a conversation that's been ongoing since 2019 and 2020, especially with the NSAS movement and how it all, unfolded. Okay. And I'm passionate about the fact that it's time for the youth, to take over the mantle of leadership. And I'm hoping that, we have more people coming out. You have the likes of Banky W, and then you have Desmond Elliott. And on the show today, we have our very own Honorable Tunde Pratt. Okay. And he has taken up the responsibility to join the leadership of Nigeria. Before I bring him on, let me just give a little background on who Tunde Pratt is. Tunde Pratt is that's Tunde Pratt right there, and he's a focused and well-traveled Nigerian with a passion for good governance, regulatory change, and promoting a clean environment, with vast consultancy experience working in central government. He is contesting for the office of Lagos State House of Assembly member, representing Mainland 2 constituency under the banner of People's Democratic Party in the 2023 general election. Wow. Okay, I'm going to bring him right into the studios. Good afternoon, Honorable Tunde Pratt. Good to see you. And thank you for joining us on Gist with Essay today.
Good afternoon, Essay. It's really good to be here. Thank you for inviting me. Appreciate it.
First off, congratulations on winning the primaries. I'm so proud. How do you feel?
Well, I feel really excited about it because it took us a while to get through the primaries. I don't know how closely you monitored the actual primaries. It was postponed on 3 occasions. And even onto the last day when the primary was going to be held, we got information about 6 p.m. the night before that was going to be postponed. So all the plans we had made, we had to shelve them. And then about 10 at night, we got information that it was still on. So obviously we had to.
Wow.
Yes.
But that must have gotten you really tensed and everything, because I can just imagine.
Expectedly, yes. So because you do a lot of preparations. First things first, you have to prepare yourself mentally. You have to make sure that you are prepared to go out there, see people, interact with people, and then ask them or talk to them about your aspirations. So that takes a lot of time for you to prep and get it right on the day. And then, because we're in Lagos, we're in Nigeria, you have to think about security as well. So you have to put your security in place, make sure everyone is set, logistics. And then for it to be cancelled on 3 occasions and then put back at the last minute, it was tense, but, thank God.
Thank God you were prepared.
Yes, we were prepared. And, to God be the glory, we were victorious. So, I'm glad of the whole experience. So it's definitely something that I'll take with me next time in.
Okay, that's great to hear. Now, guys, before we continue, I'm going to do something a bit interesting today, something different, on the show. But before we continue, you know how we do. Please share on all your platforms, get your friends and family to join in the conversation, and you can ask any questions. Please, let's start sending in our comments and our questions for Honorable, before, as the show is ongoing. So if you're here and you're watching, just say hi, say hello. Let's know where you're watching from and all that, so that Honorable will know who's joining the show, because we have quite a few people already on. And I would like to ask the viewers to, definitely. Maria Conde, hi. See, that's our first. Maybe we should start giving gifts to the first person to comment on the show from now on. Okay, so Maria Conde, I think I owe you something. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet done so. So today, because I'm passionate about youth leadership, right, I want you to put in the comment section if you believe that the youth can, take Nigeria to the next level. All right. So vote, type I or nay. All right. And then we're going to take a poll and see who's going to win this. But remember that if you're voting yay, you're voting. If you're voting aye, you're voting for Tunde Pratt, and you're voting for youth leadership in Nigeria. Okay, so let's make it fun. Just drop your vote, and we'll have our director take the poll, and then we'll announce it before the show comes to an end. And Maria is watching from Kent, all the way from Kent. Thank you, Maria, for joining. Thank you, Babati, and thank you, Iris Ifeoluwa. And Adetola Akintola. Wow. Okay. Some big people are here watching you. Okay, so before we get started get into the main gist, tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay, thank you very much. And also, great welcome to other people who are joining. It's really good to have, so many people interacting as well. So please keep it coming. So I think it's easier for me to start from my professional background, and then I go into my personal background a bit more. So, just to give a bit of context. So in terms of who I am, so professionally, I am I would say a project consultant. I also work as a legal consultant, and simply because in my educational career, I have a BSc in Business Information Technology, which then supports my project delivery side of things. And then I have an LLM, an LLB in law. That's a Bachelor of Law, and also have a master's in law as well. So I think I'm a bit of a mixed in that perspective. And to that respect, I consult on a number of process improvement projects, mostly for central government agencies, some for United Nations, European Union, the Nigerian government, state government, etc. And for me, that has been the bane of who my person is, and that has put me in a position whereby my focus is on people change, talking about things that actually is for the collective good of people, looking at how we can bring people from maybe situation of poverty, bring people into a space where they have opportunities. So that's who I am. Other side of me is my experience from the political side of things. I've always been I would say a background politician, from time. I've sponsored, or rather I've supported people who have gone into office, some successful, some not successful, etc. But for me, that has made me understand that everybody is political in a certain way or the other. And that puts me in a place whereby I'm able to relate with people more easily. I want to see myself as someone who is I'm a very casual person. So I like to listen a lot, rather than, just jumping, saying things. And all of that together has really brought me to define myself as, I would say, an easygoing, well-traveled and very accommodating individual, if I can say that for myself.
Okay, that's great. That's really great to know. So I want to ask you, why politics? What made you go into politics?
So the thing, in my opinion, I think we are all political in one way or the other. We have our biases, we have our preferences, we have associations that we form. All of this is politics in one way or the other. And as I said, because of my professional and personal life, I've always been involved with things that has to do with groups of people rather than working on individual level, right? So in my line of work, I'm an advocate, right? In my legal capacity, I'm an advocate. In my professional capacity, I am bringing in change for people, or working towards making change for people. So politics has always been something that's always been within me. And being a Nigerian, being a Lagosian particularly, I am mindful of how politics is being run in Nigeria. And because I am able to see, I'm able to compare, other policies that's been, written all of, across the world, and I can see where the deficiencies are in Nigeria. So in my opinion, I need to commit something. I need to make a sacrifice, right? And my sacrifice really is for me to come out and say, look, I want to put myself forward out there. I want to bring the opportunities that I believe we need in Lagos specifically. And also, just to make sure that I can go to sleep at night knowing that I'm trying to make a change.
Wow, great. So, talk to us about your campaign so far. How has it been going? What are the challenges that you faced during your campaign?
Okay. I want to have an open and honest, frank conversation because, I think this is one of
We
the
would
drivers.
appreciate an open and honest conversation.
Okay, so I want to focus that response to politics in Nigeria, particularly in my constituency. It's hard, right? It's hard because of so many factors. First of all, there is a deficiency or a trust deficiency between the people who are governed and the people on the leadership, current leadership, I must say. Because in the past, people have been dealt, they've been promised a lot of things. People have, politicians come to them, they offer them all sort of inducements just to get their votes. And then when the time comes for the politicians to do their job, they are missing, right? And they either make provisions for a select group of people who can keep them in power. So there's that trust deficiency. So coming in from, I would say, a non-overt political person, myself, it's difficult. However, we've been able to overcome that in the sense that we are consistent in our messaging. For example,
Okay.
whenever I'm speaking to people within my consistency, I say to them, one of the things I'm offering is access to governance. I don't want to run an office or be in government where people whom I am supposed to be representing don't have access to me. Now, access to me doesn't mean that necessarily you can come and see me every day, but at least you have a voice, right? I want to run an office whereby people know that on a certain day or on a certain time of the month, whatever it is, we are having workshops, we're having open discussions where that either myself or my representative will be present. It has to be an inclusive government. I know people, say that again, but it's all about building that trust. When people see that you are actually making a difference, you are visible, you are accessible,
Yeah.
and in all your dealings, you are fair. Because fairness is what would get people to start to trust you, and that trust deficiency would gradually would begin to erode. Another thing that I would say in terms of making how it's been difficult is because Nigerians, we have this perception that the people who are in power, because they have all the resources, they have the financial muscle, they've got the money to run government, they are the only ones who can do it. So people who want to volunteer, people who want to actually come out and support you, they feel defeated before they actually start. And again, we're trying to turn that around because
Okay.
gradually the message is being passed across. We APC government had primaries over the last 24 hours, and people who are in government are no longer returning. The message is being passed down to people that power ultimately belongs to the people. The more people who come out to vote, the more people who actually stand by their votes and know that their votes count, the better the leadership are. So those challenges that I'm recognizing, where myself and my team, we're turning it around. And I think another thing I would really want to quickly mention, and perhaps maybe opening up to people to suggest, is the issue of funding. In every election, funding matters, be it for advertising, be it for logistics, just generally just having the opportunity to be able to call people around. Because don't forget, the electorate, they're working people, working men and women as well. So they're spending their time with you. So either you have to entertain them or you have to mobilize them in one way or the other, right? And that's where the money comes from. But people who are fresh into politics, we don't have the resources like people who are in government. So that as well is also a challenge. But again, we're overcoming that. We're reaching out to actually use this as a plug. We're reaching out to people to volunteer. We're reaching out to people to sponsor us, create banners for us, create t-shirt, merchandise, whatever it
Okay.
is. That helps. Even sharing our message on your platforms, like this sort of platform, it does help to drive down the cost that we would have to incur on our own.
Wow, that's great. If you're just joining us, thank you and welcome. Ade Dolakbo Wellington says, hello, Dolakbo Wellington from Yaba, Lagos. I'm assuming that's someone that you may know. Yeah. So if you're just joining us, please don't forget we're voting yay or nay for youth government. Do you believe that the youth in Nigeria are ready to take the government of Nigeria to the next level? Are the youth ready to take the people to the next level? Or do you believe that they are lazy youths and they can't get the job done? So please vote, 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 vote. And maybe we should give a prize, to someone today in the. I'm just feeling very generous. Why? Okay, so let's keep it going. Keep voting and keep interacting. Send in your questions if you've got any, and your contributions. And at the end of the show, we'll pick one lucky winner. Maybe we'll have Honorable just go through the. So Honorable, you have to be observant. Just go through the chats, the comments, and you will help us with one lucky winner who's going to win a prize today. All right.
I'm going to be partial here. I'm just letting you know.
You're going to be what?
I'm going to be partial. I'm going to choose someone of my preference. So, but yeah, let's see how it goes.
Well, it's your day today. Whoever you choose, we'll go with. Wumi says, I'm here for the prize. Okay, so Director, we have please help us collate the names of the people that are voting. Yeah. So on to the next question. Why PDP? Why are you running under the PDP platform? Why not APC? Why not Labour Party? Why not your own party?
So I've actually considered this, and the simple response I can give is that PDP traditionally has always been a conservative middle/working class party. Since the conception or inception of PDP, right? PDP has been the only party that has stood on the tenets of supporting the working class and the middle class in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, it was during the time of PDP that in Nigeria, the middle class started to emerge. Now, subsequent governments have come through at national level and a state level, and all of that middle class has been eroded. That's number one. And then if we look at my constituency where I grew up, Yaba predominantly dates back to when we had the colonization, or when Nigeria was still under the military rule. Rather, I beg your pardon, still under the United Kingdom rule, when we were still colonized. And the whole format of Yaba, the whole structure of Yaba still retains a lot of that. That's why a lot of the street names are named after, popular English settled men and women, etc. And for me, that tells me that Yaba has been constructed in such a way that it is for the working class people. Yeah. And because I grew up in that area, I know the people in that area. We're very friendly. We're very familiar with one another. It's a family-oriented focus, which is the PDP party. Now, obviously, people come and go into the PDP party, but that is my party that my family, my friends, my constituency, and have all been part of. And I'm proud to be a member of the PDP because, if we look at it traditionally, all the parties that has been done in Nigeria, there has been one contraption or the other for the rest of them, but PDP remains the only individual party that has stood firm, regardless of the troubles, regardless of the issues and whatever it is, but it has always stood firm. I think it's down to the umbrella because the umbrella covers everyone. So everyone is welcome in the PDP. So people who are listening, please join the PDP party. We need new people to inject new ideas in the PDP. If we don't want the current level of leadership at the top, that's where we come in. We need to come in at ward levels. We need to come in at our constituency level to start making a change. But the PDP is the party. Absolutely is the party.
Okay, great. I'm going to read some comments, but before I do that, I was going to ask you were talking about accessibility. So I wanted to ask you, how accessible are you to your constituents?
Okay. So in terms of accessibility, barring any form of security concerns, I think we have been very privileged in the sense that the people whom we are seeking to represent, they have welcomed us, right? Okay. They encourage us to come into their community. So for example, whenever I'm going out to say, so I've got 4 wards. So if I'm going to a particular ward, I have people whom I can call and say, look, we're coming to your area, and they guarantee our safety. They guarantee our security. during those trips. So that gives us opportunity to go out there and be free. Now, also with regards to and so that is the physical accessibility. So we are constantly visiting people, visiting wards, etc. And also online as well. We have a number of social media platforms where people can just drop comments. All of our platforms are open, so we don't block people or scrutinize or whatever it is. It's a public forum. People can post things that maybe they want us to do or they're not happy about, and everyone sees it. So for me, that is accessibility. And we're going to take that into office. So when we get into office, we're going to be having regular town hall meetings whereby people can come in, they can tell us what is happening within their areas and what's particular to them, because it's only people who live within these areas that can tell us how best we can serve their areas. So that's why accessibility to us is not just something that we're just doing, it's a continuum. And as I said, when we get into office, we'll have those regular sessions. People come in, they great suggestions, and amongst us, we will choose the most pressing issues, right? So it will be a period of time when, say, for example, a community comes up with 4 or 5 demands. Government can't fix everything. So the ones we can fix, right, even with government resources or external resources, we will make sure that there is a list in the order of priority, and all of that will be done jointly. And this goes back to the trust issues that I said. When people see that you are making an effort, you are carrying them along every step of the way, it's easier for them to start to trust you, and they start to open up to you a lot more.
Wow, that's really great. Let's take some comments. Buki Olabi says, hello, honorable, great show. And then Amaka Mbeji, I'm sorry if I'm murdering your name. We are here for it all. Atinuke E says, what are they sharing? We are sharing stuff. Stay tuned. Don't leave the program. You will know what we're sharing before the program comes to an end. And she also says he's so well spoken. Olushola Kayode says, on Honorable TP, please share the website for support and donation. Voting. Oh, he's voting aye for youth government. Okay. Atinuke, he says you have her votes. And Ayo is responding to Atinuke, I think, when she's asking what they're sharing. And Ayo says voice. So we're sharing voice. Your voice and your vote counts. That's what they are sharing. So make your voice and your vote count. Yes. So please, Atinuke, vote for Tunde Pratt and vote for youth government. Okay. Really, yeah. Amaka says, so well spoken, seem very qualified too. Oh yes, I quite agree with that.
This is really good feedback, and I'm really thankful for this platform. But also, I just want to mention as well that in terms of this sort of messaging that we're trying to pass across, it's not just that we just want to talk to people and say we want to do this, want to do that. We encourage people to come in and bring their own experiences, bring their own ideas. So if people want to visit our website, we have a section for volunteers, right? So if you want to volunteer on the campaign, if you want to suggest things that we could do, if there's anything that's worked in any other constituency that you're familiar with and you'd like us to partner on, please, we are open to that. We are very open to discussion. So please, I do encourage people to visit our website. And I think that also goes to the sponsorship. We will start to put up messages or links as to how people can support us, not just volunteers. And I've mentioned, creating banners for us, merchandise, money, etc. We will start to set that all up now that the primaries are over, and people who are inclined to can, sponsor our campaign. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a question from Babati. He says, why is it that before politicians get into office, they promise us heaven and earth, and once they get in, the story changes? Tell us you're not one of them. If you're not one of them, so are you one of them, in other words?
Absolutely not. So you see, the whole issue of politicians, changing their mind. For me, I actually want to encourage people, right, to understand that you have a voice. Look, 4 years might seem a long time, but it's quite short in politics. So if a politician promises you something to say, I'm going to fix your road, I'm going to fix your schools, etc., and they don't do it, by all means, kick them out. I mean, I say this with every ounce of confidence that I would never make a promise that I am unable to fulfill, right? If I'm unable to fulfill a campaign promise, I will bring it back to my constituency and we will discuss it. It's not just
Okay.
for me to just make decisions to say I can no longer do something and that's the end of it. No, we will brainstorm, we will come together and we'll reach a conclusion as to how we can move forward. Look, politics should not be about someone has said something and it's absolute. No, it's all about negotiations. We must always find common grounds. So in terms of politicians making promises, please do not judge politicians coming through based on the precedents of previous ones. If someone has not done the role, if they have not been in that position, please do not judge them. Give them an opportunity to either convince you that they are different or prove to you that they are the same. So yeah, but as for me, there's no doubt about that. I would never make a promise that I am unable to fulfill.
Okay, Ken, I hope that answers your question. He asked, how can we be sure that you won't change your principles when getting? So, Honorable Tunde has said that, if he has promised anything that he finds challenging when he's in office, he will bring it back, because that's the truth. It's not absolute. The promises are not absolute. When he gets there, there are still people. He's still a man under authority, right? He still has to go through certain channels to be able to bring those promises to fruition. So if he's faced with challenges on with the government, he's going to come back to you guys and say, look, this is what I promised, but these are the challenges I'm facing. You understand, in the government, how can we turn it around? And that means that you're very passionate about your people, your constituents, and their desires, and what they want to, why they are putting you into office. All right, so he can be trusted. Yeah. And I was almost the same thing. I was going to ask you, what's are the most pressing issues that your constituents have brought before you so far?
Mm-hmm. So apart from the level of poverty and the level of destruction that the present Lagos State administration has decimated my constituency in terms of people not being able to go to a job, people not being able to commute effectively, security, etc. I'll say one of the greatest things that people have been talking about is the lack of opportunity. Now, Yaba mainland constituency is quite fortunate in the sense that we have a lot of government and state parastatals, across. So we have University of Lagos, we have WAEC, we have a lot of medical institutions, we have a lot of good schools, legacy schools that we've inherited. However, we haven't transformed that into viable community for people to live. So one of the things that I would plan to do, first of all, is to investigate, or rather be an advocate for the state government agencies that sit within Yaba. Okay. A lot of times they talk about funding, and some of that funding is just paper funding, it's just on paper that they've received an allocation for state government or the schools or the health parastatals, etc. But it doesn't get them. Even the local government funding doesn't get to the local government. The state government takes it and then they give them a share of it. In my role, I will be an advocate because I will make sure that the funding that is supposed to get will get it. However, the people who are receiving this funds also have to ensure that they are using it right. Because it's one thing for me to make sure that you get your funding and then the next thing, you're lackadaisical about it, right? We will make sure that once you get the funding, whatever has been set out in the budget for you to use the funding for is actually being used for. And it could be that we would actually have people within these agencies or these parastatals that are monitoring, right? It could be people within my office who are going out there to have oversight functions, people who are reporting, and we will set minimum standards. Because in anything that you're doing, if you're working on a project, you have to know, or you have to be able to plan to know when the project will fail. So there will be milestones that we will say, if at this stage in 6 months' time, if we have not seen certain set of results, then we know that there's a possibility that the project will fail, or the invention or the incentive will fail, and then we can either intervene or we can advise. We'd make sure that all of those are in place. And if there's one thing I know about this generation that is coming through, is that these guys that's coming through, they will not take no for an answer. Nothing will be secret anymore. Lagos State government,
Okay.
for example, the last 2 decades, they have not audited their accounts. So we don't even know. All we just hear is that there's 400 billion internal generated revenue annually, but we don't know where it's been spent, right? So these are the sort of things that, in my capacity, in my office, we will make sure that these things are made public, because everyone has a stake in it. Nobody should just be hushed away and say, yeah, just, there's nothing to see here. So in my capacity, I will ensure that there's transparency in that level. And when people demand transparency, they don't have a choice, because power belongs to the people. When people clamor, look at the events of the EndSARS. It crippled the activities of Lagos and the whole of Nigeria for a while, because people demanded justice, against police brutality and all of that. We need that same energy for people to demand good governance. If it means that I will lead, citizens to go to Alausa to demand that we open the books of Lagos State government in the last 20 years or so, so be it.
Okay. I'm going to take some more comments and then we'll go on a short break. But I can see that a lot of people are actually commenting and saying, we know we can count on you, Honorable Tunde Pratt. And Ari says, I believe Honorable Tunde Pratt can do it without changing his mind, because he has changed my mind on his distrust issue. Just have to trust him that he can do it. So good. Ifeoluwa, you just typed out what I wanted to say. For those of you saying that you believe he can do it, you're the man for the job, can you also type in the comment section, tell us what about Tunde Pratt makes you believe that he can do the job, that he's the man for the job? Anything, any character trait or any experience that you've had with him, so that other people who don't know him can know him through your comments, right? And then C-Plan OKK says, considering the corruption within the party, what are you doing to make sure you set yourself apart? That's a very good question.
Okay. One of the things that I would say I'm very proud of in this current dispensation of PDP in Lagos State is that in my journey to securing the ticket and progressing to be the party flag bearer, there has been no time that any party leader or stalwart has called me aside and said to me that, look, this is what we're going to do, right? Because the good thing about the PDP, the current PDP right now, is that the leadership believe in people actually going out there and bringing in fresh ideas. There is no godfather, right? There's no godmother. There's absolutely nothing. Obviously, there are people who will guide you. However, they recognize that the people who are coming in, they are coming with fresh ideas. They are hungry for change. And at no point in time, as I said, has anybody called me aside and said, this is how we're going to do it. Another thing that is also helping us in doing that is because most, if not all of the campaign progress that we have made has been self-funded by myself and my team. And, and that gives us a level of independence. Independence in the sense that, because if someone is funding you, then it's easy for the person to be able to manipulate you. But if you are bringing your own ideas, your volunteers are doing whatever it is that they have to support you, then it makes it very difficult for someone to be able to manipulate you and make you do their bidding. So that's why, I'm very confident that from this point onwards, as I said, we'll start to publish, how people can support, volunteer, etc. It will make us very, very independent. And also, if you're independent, if you're educated, if you can stand on your feet, trust me, the leadership will listen to you, because the leadership also want change. They also want things to work, because if the PDP works on Lagos mainland, especially in Lagos, then, it's actually a big compliment to the party. So the party will support if you've got good ideas, if you've got a good following, and they understand that you are here for positive change. It's when people are compromised, it's easier for the leadership to be able to compromise you further.
Manipulate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Wumi says, can we have the link, please? Wumi, what link are you asking for? The link where you can donate or support the cause? I'm going to put it up in a bit if that's what you're referring to. Otherwise, please clarify the link that you mean. Omonike, he can do it. Why can? Just tell us why. What do you know about him that makes you believe strongly that he can do it? We're going to go on a break, and then when we come back, I'll read some of the responses from that.
Yeah.
Oh God, yes you are. What more can I do? You are, you're mighty. Yes you are. You are holy. You are faithful. You're precious. Nothing can compare. You are righteous. You are glorious. You're mighty. Nothing can compare. And I stand in awe of you, my God. You're great. Nothing can compare. You deserve the glory and honor. Oh Lord, nothing can compare. Mighty God, yes, you are. You're precious. That is who you are. That is who you are. Yeah. You awesome. You are mighty. You are precious. You are mighty, mighty. Yeah. You are precious, Lord. You are great, Lord. My words are not enough. You're mighty, yeah. You're precious, Lord. You're mighty, yeah. Quiero sacar everybody love the song. Everybody love mighty God. Oh, we worship you, God. Everybody love the song.
Welcome back, guys. Thank you. If you've been with us from the beginning of the show, thank you. Thank you. I hope you have subscribed to my channel. The music video you just watched is by Maria Conde. That's her first single. It just dropped a couple of weeks ago. You can have access to the full video on her YouTube channel. I think her YouTube channel is mbeloved_T. Yeah, so that's it. You can get her, Maria Akonde, on YouTube. Look for her, you'll find her, and then you can have access to the full video. Yes, so people have been asking about the handle. So if you check his Honorable's Twitter account, his website is on there. So that's his Twitter account at Pratt Tunde. On there, you'll find the handle, his website's URL. And if you click on it, it will take you straight to his website, and then you will find the part where you can support his campaign. Let's see. Do we have any more questions or contributions from the audience? Okay, Ken A says, what is the job description for the position that Tunde is gunning for? Honorable, would you like to take that?
Okay, thank you very much. So the full title, I'll start with the full title, is a member of Assembly, or Lagos State Member of Assembly representing Lagos Mainland 2. And normally the context of the description is really it's predominantly to scrutinize legislation, make sure that the legislation that is being passed by the Lagos State government is people friendly. Also to be an advocate of the government agencies, which I mentioned about, and also the citizens as well. But ultimately, it's really just to keep the Lagos State government honest. So whichever dealings the Lagos State government have with the people, especially people within Lagos Mainland 2, it will be my responsibility to ensure that the Lagos State government is giving them a fair deal, be it in terms of making sure that the environment is kept clean, is healthy, making sure that they have the right resources to run the state government hospitals, clinics, health facilities, schools, and also any job opportunities that is being brought to the Lagos mainland. It will be my responsibility to ensure that government is not just importing people from outside constituencies to fill in those roles. So the job description really is just to ensure that the rights of the residents of Lagos Mainland 2 is protected.
Having said that, do you believe that the youth are ready to take the country to the next level?
Absolutely. So I was thinking about, like, over the last couple of weeks, I was thinking about what contribution have the youths been making, not only in Nigeria, but across the world. And if you look at it, the biggest industry these days, is in the social media space, right? It's been run by the youth, right? And all of these ideas are being generated by people who have, who are youths effectively. If you look at the payment system, payment platforms have been run by youth, social media, advertising, entertainment, all of that is being run by the youth. So who are we to not think that the youth are able or prepared to actually run, a government? Because all of these platforms that were being mentioned, all of these facilities that were being mentioned, every government is using it. There is no government in the world that is not on our social media spaces. They use a lot of entertainment, to bring people on, closer to them, right? All of the payment platforms, a lot of these state government platforms that are now, collecting payment digitally. These platforms are being created by, youths in Nigeria and youths abroad. So the youths are ready, the facilities are there. However, it's opportunities that is lacking, because the old guard, they're still holding on to power, and it all boils down to money, right? Because whoever's controlling the purses of the nation control the mood of the people. But we can switch that around, because once people start to, demonetize politics, then we begin to understand that politics should be about service rather than politics just being about money.
Okay, great. Amaka Mbeji says, experience, qualifications, he's a youth too. He sounds humble and like someone who has integrity. Yes, I second that. I believe that you have integrity, and that's why I asked you on the show to, speak to us about your plans. Now, going on to talk about your plans, I've gone through your website and I saw that, part of your vision is to tackle education and health. Okay, can you share with us 2 practical ways in which you plan to do that, and then what exactly are the issues with the education and health in the country?
Okay, so I want to take healthcare first of all, then I'll come to education, because healthcare is, so we only have one life, right? And unfortunately, over the last couple of years in Nigeria, we have seen a dereliction of duty from some health providers. First of all, in my capacity as the representative for Lagos Mainland, one of the things I need to start focusing legislation in is to look at laws that strengthen vicarious liability. You know, to look at how we can push health services or healthcare providers to actually look at their Hippocratic oath. You know, there's ethics, right? The healthcare in Nigeria, unfortunately, is down to money. However, there should still be a level of responsibility that is put down onto the healthcare provider, especially in case of emergency. You know, we hear of healthcare facilities running out of oxygen or bed space, or just people not just doing their job. You know, human life might not mean much to some people because, you know, they've done it so much. We need to bring that back in. We need to put humanity. And unfortunately, where we might hit them is to make sure, you know, I mentioned vicarious liability, that the employer or the organization will be held responsible for any dereliction of duty by healthcare providers. It should not be business as usual, because people who are at the worst moments in their lives are coming into a healthcare provider and are just being left not unattended to, or maybe just a lackadaisical attitude. We need to tackle that. And I believe that once employers or organizations are being held responsible, it could be jail term, it could be fines, hefty fines, it could be closure, or it could be taking over that facility. It will start to set an example. And, you know, ultimately people's minds will start to change, because as an individual, I should be able to walk into a health facility. I might not have the resources to pay at that point in time, but then I should be treated, and they will deal with the cost later. You know, maybe there might be a fallout, or, you know, there might be a government incentive somewhere there, but we really need to look at the legislation to ensure that we have a carrot and stick approach, you know, to that effect. Ultimately, the duty of care should be passed on back to the healthcare providers. And in terms of education, I think for education, we probably need to start by looking at the talents that we recruit into our state schools. So we know that the state schools are the last port of call for the average man, because most schools these days now are private, you know, and private schools cost a lot of money and not necessarily getting the right level of, you know, quality of education. So what we need to do is we need to bring back dignity into the teaching profession by ensuring that the right level of quality of people is being looked after, because we need to safeguard these children. These children are vulnerable. So, you know, we'll start with that. Also, we need to ensure that there is a minimum standard that's being put through with regards to curriculum. Again, we will work with the Lagos State Department for Education to ensure that these curriculum are standard across the board. And also, in terms of practical terms, we need to empower the schools as well to look out for, you know, people or students who are, you know, with special talents, you know, students who are gifted in certain way or challenged in a certain way, to help them so that the education is bespoke. All of these might seem like, you know, it's a mountain to climb, but little steps, we'll start to take little steps. And if I could just quickly add, one of the things that I would like to achieve, you know, once my tenure is over, is that I would like to set up a structure so that the people who are coming behind me to sit in that office have something to actually, you know, step, as a stepping stone to move forward. The kind of policies, the kind of structures that we're trying to put in place might not be things that will pay off in the first 4 years or 8 years or whatever it is. But once we start on that level, and it's a solid foundation, the people coming behind me in that office will be able to work on it. We hear so much of, you know, what Pa Awolowo did in the Southwest in regards to education. We've heard so much of what Pa Jakonde did in the Lagos Master Plan. Those are the sort of legacies that I want to think about. These guys are not here to benefit from it. However, they have set up that structure, and, you know, till this day, we're talking about it. So those are the kind of things that I would like to set up as well.
Okay, great. Now, we're going to round up in a bit. So if you have any more questions for Honorable Tunde, perhaps please, now is time to drop it. because we're going to round up in a bit. Before I let you go, I want to ask you, what has been the greatest challenge in dealing with your constituents in regards to them getting involved in the voting process, and how have you resolved it? So, okay, so our guest has dropped out. He's going to be back in a minute. Yes. So if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. You know, we're always happy to have you guys on board. And this is essay is taking a new shape. So you don't want to miss any of the goodies we have planned for you. Do you want me to take the question again, or
no? I got it. So, so one of the biggest drives that we've been doing, and thanks to INEC to have opened up the registration portal over the last couple of months, is that getting people to leave their roles, leave their jobs or their businesses, their homes, to go out to the registration centers and be registered. Now, it's been a challenge because, Nigeria is still much of a, everyone manages their own economy. You go to work, you feed yourself, etc. So your time is really precious. So what we've been doing in our own little capacity is we've been funding some of these trips to the INEC office. We've also been funding some of the INEC visitation as well. So when INEC goes into local areas, we have to set up tents, banners, a bit of refreshment so that people are not weary, people are not waiting. And generally, we've been doing a lot of publicity with regards to people getting their voters cards. We've also been transporting people, all at huge cost, I must say. And, I'm very grateful to my team, my family, my friends who are also supporting in that aspect. But for us, we don't even know if these guys are going to vote for us, right? Because election is still next year. However, we want people to understand that having their voters card matter, having registered to actually vote matter. So whatever you do with your vote is entirely up to you, but we will facilitate you ensuring that you actually get your voters card. And, for that particular a reward, for me, it's actually quite satisfying that people who are empowered enough to get the voters card, and then when the time comes, we hope that they do make the right choice.
Wow, thank you so much, Honorable Tunde Pratt. We're about to round up now, so I'm going to go straight to who the lucky winner is for today. Please, the director, you've collated all the ayes and nays and everything. What do we have? Is it yes for youth leadership or no? Okay, so the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Youth leadership, it is for Nigeria. So when you're voting, please remember, let's stop recycling, the old guns. Let's stop recycling them. Let's give young people a chance to prove that Nigeria can work. Because I think that majority of the problem with voting and voters and constituents is that they don't even believe that the country can work anymore. That's why they don't even bother to vote. So, when politicians are facing the challenge of getting people to go out there to vote, who are you asking to go and vote? People who do not believe that Nigeria can still work. But if we're raising a group of young people to take over the mantle, the mantle of leadership, then, it's a fresh start. And, I encourage everyone to vote. All right. So, Honorable, you're going to pick for us the winner. But don't be in a hurry. You cannot pick a relative.
No.
And you cannot pick someone that you know.
I'm going to pretend I don't know all the people here. The relatives are easy.
Because how would I know if you know them, right?
I mean, it's very easy to spot my relatives on here, but I think I'm going to be fair in this regard. So based on the level of engagement, I'm going to choose Aris Ifeoluwa, because Aris has really put in quite a lot of comments on there, and I really do encourage people to be interactive in further sessions.
Wow, thank you very, very much. And because I am feeling very generous, I wrote down a name as well. Okay, yeah. So we have two people. Before I read out my name, John O says, good to see someone actually thinking about sustainable planning to build infrastructure and policies that will last longer than ever after he's left. Yes, that's a good one. For some reason, I can't see the links that have been posted, but just watch my space on social media. I will post his link. Yeah, and I'll post it to the broadcast message as well. Mumiz, you will get it in the broadcast message, please. I have tried to put it up, but I'm not seeing it. But like I said, if you go to his Twitter handle, his Twitter page, you will see his website on there. And that's his Twitter page and that's his Instagram account. You will see the website, click on it, and you will find where you can donate and support his campaign. So I am picking Amaka. Amaka, I hope I'm not murdering your surname, but I'm picking Amaka Beji because she came on early and she's been, interacting from the very beginning. So what are we giving? What are we giving, Director? So Amaka and Iris, yeah?
Amaka would have been my second choice, actually.
Oh, wow. So see? Iris and Amaka, you need to send me a DM on Instagram. Tell me where you live so we'll know where to send your gift to. Give me a minute. I'm gonna put up my so those are my handles. Follow me on Instagram and send me a DM, Aris and Amaka, and let me know where you live so we can send you your gift. I know someone is gonna ask. Iris says, I believe Honorable Tunde Pratt will surely do it on the part of education because he's educated and he wouldn't want any lack of education during his time. Definitely. I believe that as well. So, okay, guys, we have our two winners. Yay! I'm so excited for you guys. What are we giving them? We have, I'm going to give a pair of Vans footwear. Okay? So, that's what I'm giving. So now you have to send me your size, your shoe size, and where you are so that I can get in touch with you. On that note, thank you everyone for joining us. Today was such an awesome session. And thank you, Honorable Tunde Pratt. Please change your name. Why did you put Tunde Pratt? Honorable, please. Thank you so much for joining us on This With Esse. We appreciate you for coming.
Thank you for having me. Been a great show. Thank you.
All right. Until next time on This With Esse, remember, guys, stay happy, stay positive, stay mended. Bye.